And we're back with the unknown prophet. What's your opinion with the whole coronavirus and wearing a mask?
Okay, as you can possibly tell by now, there's a big controversy going on with wearing a mask and this whole coronavirus thing. Now, I think I'm going to go ahead and give you another two perspectives once again of how I see the whole thing. The first one is going to be called the real issue. The second one is going to be called bitch believers. Because, man, it's so many of y'all out there right now, and you guys are making this very difficult for anybody to move through the current situation of what we're going through. Now, the real issue is this. You guys are just afraid of death. Let's just call it how we see it. This is all about being afraid to die. Because if you wasn't so afraid to die, why are you so fearful? You see what I'm saying? And I'm going to use a very popular person that a lot of people know about, and his name is Jesus. So, everybody, I know why you're really afraid. It's all because of you're afraid that if you might catch the coronavirus, you might die. There's so much death being just everywhere right now. Death is everywhere. Death is in the air. Trust me, it is in the air. And it's getting on my last nerve. I mean, for real, it's getting on my last nerve. And this is why I'm going to use Jesus today. A lot of you are familiar with him, so let's talk about Jesus. Now, by the way, you do know that this is Judgment Day. A lot of you have been waiting on this day. You've been hearing about it for years. Guess what? It's here. And how you guys are responding to it? Anyway, let's talk about Jesus. Jesus have a verse. And that verse says, these words came out of his mouth. Although I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, since there's so much death, it kind of sounds like what we're in right now. We're in that valley, right? I shall not what? Please say it louder. I shall not what? Fear. And that's exactly what's going on right now. You guys are afraid to die. Now, tell me this, and I'm just curious, because you guys are getting so mad at other people because they choose not to wear a mask. Now, we have reasons for that, just like you have reasons to believe what you want to believe. Now, my fiance goes to work and she comes home. She's telling me she's having a headache. It's killing her. She got a bad headache. And then I was like wondering, why is she having these headaches? We both wondering why she's having these headaches. Come to find out she was having the headaches because of the mask. Now, I don't know about any of you, but I don't think you like having a headache, do you? Because it's irritating, just like your fear is irritating to us. So that's a good reason why she chooses not to wear a mask. That is her choice. You see what I'm saying? Not your fearful choice of thinking, oh, I'm going to catch the coronavirus and I'm going to die. Now, this is also saying, again, the disrespect on your end, because you cannot let people have their own thought process and live their lives according to what they believe outside of your government and your fear. Because that's what it is. It's all about fear. You know it is. So, haven't you thought about it? Now, this is what I was talking about. This is Judgment Day, and you guys are failing miserably. Because all this fear, you're getting on other people's nerves because of this fear. You're getting on my nerves, making my balls itch. I mean, it's really irritating. So that's why I had to make this video, because you guys have to learn that it ain't our fault, because you are not prayed up, or your belief is not as strong as you think it is, because that's what this boils down to. By the way, I'm going to just give you a little insight. We live on two planes at once. It's called the spiritual and the physical. Okay? Two planes. I think you guys have forgotten this. Now, the plane of the physical world, if you think about it, that world is crumbling as we speak, right? It's just so much fear, there's so much death, and there's just so much going on in that physical world as we speak. But there's another plane called the spiritual plane. And this is where I'm going to tell you about more what Jesus said. Jesus said on his second time coming back, I will meet you in the sky. He even said himself, he ain't coming back down here. And I don't blame him. I mean, would you come back down here? That's why he said, next time I'm going to meet you guys in the sky. Now think about that. How are you going to meet him in the sky? Because he going to be there. How are you going to get there? Now, I'm going to tell you how you get there. The way you get there is, in a spiritual sense, you have to raise your consciousness. You have to walk in that path of believing in God and staying on that journey. Now, have you ever groomed your spiritual self? Have you paid attention to it? Have you even put any work or effort into it? Because if you did, and you truly believe in God like you say you do, trust me, you shouldn't fear anything. Now, I know there's a lot of nurses and they're on the front lines and they're seeing a lot of death. And I'm also letting you know there are other nurses on the other side that are seeing people being killed. Like, they are letting these people die. I've seen the videos, and these nurses, for all you other people that don't believe this is happening, it's happening, okay? You're just so close-minded in your fear that you can't think outside of that box of fear, which I'm trying to show you how to do when I talk about raising your consciousness level. Because if you don't do that, guess what? You will be stuck in the physical world, in your world of fear, and this all government BS that's going on, and you'll never be happy. And you're never going to survive. So the only way you can survive is to start looking at things in a positive light, regardless amongst all this fear. Because God is here amongst all this fear. And for those of us that truly believe this way, leave us alone. Okay? We're not judging you. We're letting you run. Run with your fear. We just choose not to do it because our connection and our relationship is really with God, and it's not with fear. Okay? It's not that hard. It's not that hard for you to do. It's called respect. Okay? Because all of this is out of control. This is why I choose to vibrate in a higher consciousness level of believing in God and believing in the true spiritual realm of God has got me and everything's going to be okay, which it will be. But the other side, you guys that are so scared right now, I think that you need to learn how to start learning more in your spiritual realm and start learning how to go within and start meditating and getting closer to God at this time. Because ain't nobody going to save you right now but God. And another thing, why are y'all so afraid? Y'all act like you didn't know one day that, hey, you might die. I mean, that's the one thing about life. You ain't going to make it out alive. I'm sorry. You know anybody that has? Okay, then. So with that being said, why don't you just work on yourself and leave everybody else alone with their own opinions about this? Okay? That's all you have to do. If you want to live in fear, live in fear. Other people have their reason of believing. You have your reasons of believing. It's just that simple. And just because we don't wear a mask, which is the only thing we're not doing, by the way, and that's another thing. If you die, if it's your time, a mask ain't going to stop it. A mask is not going to stop it. So once again, we are in the valley of the shadow of death. This is Judgment Day. So if you want to pass the test, I suggest, and this is coming from a higher authority in me in a spiritual sense, I suggest you get prayed up. I suggest you start building your relationship with God a little bit stronger, okay? Because this is getting completely out of control and you guys have lost your mind with this fear stuff. There's a lot of things going on behind the scene that you fail to look at. A lot of child sex trafficking going on, a lot of pedophilia going on, and a lot of stuff. That's why they're keeping you distracted with this coronavirus. I'm not saying it's not real, and I'm not saying people aren't dying, but people die every freaking day. There's nothing new under the sun. There's probably somebody dying as we speak, and you know it. So what are you going to do? Just live in fear all day long? Just keep running around, and if somebody don't live there with you, you get pissed? Come on, man. That's what I mean by bitch believers. Stop being bitch believers. You can't believe in God and possess fear. And don't act like, oh, just because we don't wear a mask that we don't care about other people. This has got nothing to do with that. I just explained to you it's our choice, and some people have problems with that mask, okay? Understand it, realize it, it happens. You guys are so childish in your perspectives right now that you're really getting on other people's nerves. You see what I'm saying? Just like you feel like we getting on you are getting on our nerves. And all I'm saying is to put it all in perspective, this boils down to fear. And it's fear of death. Like I said, Jesus said, although I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall not fear. You're failing. I'm just letting you know you're failing. So if you want to fail, that's your business. Go ahead and fail. Because there are those that are on the light side, and we've been here since the beginning of all of this, and we are aware of it. Okay, but we choose to move in faith, not fear. And we will continue to move in faith. And I think you guys should learn how to do that and stop saying you believe in God, because you obviously don't believe in God. So that means you need to check yourself and get your spirit right. Okay? I'm about to wrap this up, but I want to give a shout out to all the true believers out there. Woo! That's what I'm saying. Keep it moving. The Spirit is with you. The Spirit of God, the unity of the consciousness is with you. We're sorry because the other people don't learn how to raise their spiritual awareness or get more into that instead of being so caught up in fear and death, because it's only because they're afraid to die. Jesus wasn't afraid to die for us. So why are you afraid to die yourself? If it's your time, it's your time. And no mask is going to stop it. Thank you.